The White Tiger by Aravind Adiga. Once upon a time, in the bustling city of Bangalore, there lived a young man named Balram Halwai. He was born and raised in the small village of Laxmangar, where he worked as a servant for a wealthy family. Despite his low status, Balram had big dreams of becoming a successful entrepreneur and escaping the poverty of his village. One day, Balram receives a letter from his wealthy former employer, Mr. Ashok, offering him a job as a driver in his household in Delhi. Eager to leave his old life behind and seize this opportunity, Balram accepts the job and moves to Delhi. However, he soon realizes that life in the big city is not as glamorous as he had imagined, as he becomes entangled in the corrupt and cutthroat world of the Indian elite. As Balram drives Mr. Ashok and his wife Pinky around the city, he observes their lavish lifestyle and the stark contrast between their wealth and the poverty of the masses. He also witnesses their involvement in bribery and corruption, including their role in a hit-and-run accident that kills a young boy. Feeling disillusioned and trapped, Balram begins to hatch a plan to escape his servitude and become his own boss. He studies books on entrepreneurship and starts his own taxi service, using his knowledge of the city to navigate the streets and avoid police checkpoints. He also begins to manipulate his employers, using their own corruption against them and even committing murder to secure his freedom. As Balram's taxi service becomes increasingly successful, he becomes known as the White Tiger, a rare and cunning creature that can thrive in any environment. However, his newfound wealth and power come at a cost, as he becomes increasingly isolated from his family and community, and is forced to confront the brutal realities of his actions. In the end, Balram reflects on his journey from a poor servant to a successful entrepreneur, and the sacrifices he had to make along the way. He acknowledges that he is not a hero, but rather a product of his circumstances, and that the true villain is the corrupt and oppressive system that has shaped his life. The story of the White Tiger is a powerful critique of the class and caste systems in modern India, and the ways in which they perpetuate inequality and corruption. It is also a story of ambition, resilience, and the human capacity for both good and evil. Incident summary. The novel begins with Balram describing his childhood in the village of Laxmangar, where he is forced to drop out of school and work in a tea shop to support his family. Balram's life changes when he is hired as a driver for Ashok and Pinky Madam, a wealthy couple from Delhi. Balram becomes close to Ashok, who treats him with respect and kindness, but he also becomes aware of the corruption and inequality that exist in Indian society. One night, while driving Ashok and Pinky Madam home from a party, Balram hits and kills a young boy. Rather than taking responsibility for the accident, Ashok and Pinky Madam force Balram to take the blame and pay a large bribe to the police. This incident marks a turning point in Balram's life, as he realizes that he must take control of his own destiny if he wants to escape the poverty and oppression that he has always known. Balram decides to murder Ashok and escape with the money he has stolen from his employer. He successfully carries out the plan and uses the money to start his own taxi business in Bangalore. Balram becomes a successful entrepreneur, but he also becomes more ruthless and corrupt as he climbs the social ladder. Character summary. Balram Halwai. The protagonist of the novel, Balram is a poor boy from a small village in India who becomes a successful entrepreneur in Bangalore. Balram is intelligent and ambitious, but he is also deeply cynical about the corruption and inequality that exist in Indian society. He is willing to do whatever it takes to escape his life of poverty, including murder and theft. Ashok, Balram's employer and friend. Ashok is a wealthy businessman who is more compassionate and humane than most of the other characters in the novel. He treats Balram with respect and kindness, but he is also complicit in the corruption and exploitation that define Indian society. Pinky Madam, Ashok's wife. Pinky is an American-born Indian who is initially portrayed as kind and sympathetic. However, she ultimately proves to be just as corrupt and exploitative as the other characters in the novel. The Stork, Balram's father. The Stork is an alcoholic who is physically and emotionally abusive to Balram and his family. He represents the oppressive and patriarchal culture of Indian society. The Mongoose, Balram's employer before he starts working for Ashok. The mongoose is a ruthless and corrupt businessman who treats Balram and his fellow servants with cruelty and contempt. He represents the worst aspects of Indian capitalism and the exploitation of the working class. The White Tiger, by Aravind Adiga, is a brilliant and powerful novel that offers a searing critique of modern Indian society. Adiga's prose is sharp and incisive, and his characters are complex and nuanced. Through the character of Balram Halwai, Adiga exposes the corruption, inequality, and violence that exist beneath the surface of India's economic growth. One of the most striking aspects of the novel is Adiga's portrayal of the vast gulf between India's rich and poor. He shows how the wealthy exploit and oppress the working class, and how the system is designed to keep the poor in their place. Despite the bleakness of the world he portrays, Adiga's novel is also a celebration of human resilience and ingenuity. As Balram says in the novel, "See, the poor dream all their lives of getting enough to eat and looking like the rich. And what do the rich dream of? Losing weight and looking like the poor." This quote encapsulates the central theme of the novel: the crushing weight of poverty and the desperate struggle for survival in a society that is rigged against the poor. The White Tiger is a masterpiece of modern literature and a must-read for anyone who wants to understand the complexities of modern India. Please like, share and subscribe.